Hey, Brandon.
Hello?
It's Sean.
Yeah, hey.
You can't hear me very good, can you?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Alright, good.
Yep. How's it going?
Shitty, I still can't see my loved ones. Nobody came forward.
Well,
The ones who did were shot down. They did everything in their power to prevent me from having an honest day in court, and it all came down to the fact that nobody went in with me. Nobody made a fucking report. I mean, did anybody fucking notice when I hurt my back? Like, did anybody bother to find out why I changed after I hurt my back? Why I was stressed and fucking suicidal?
I think you remember that I did.
I do, Brandon.
Fuck, I tried pretty hard to help you move and shit or whatever the fuck I could back then.
Dude, you helped me move 3 times.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yep.
ungrateful. What?
No, I know you're not. I'm not saying you are.
You know, the first person to really tear me down in texting and go out of their way not to talk to me and fucking treat me like shit over things I couldn't help, I couldn't change, was Veronica.
And I remember the instance.
She just wanted me to go get my tax stuff. I kept trying to explain to her I had to wait on Jesse. I mean, that wasn't a decision. It's not like I was irking my duties. It wasn't like I was trying to be an asshole. And fuck, I
Yeah,
loved
I mean,
working
you
at
were.
Stone Lighting. She's the one that got me that job. Going in and Nick is wearing a suit of armor made out of the shipping boxes. I mean, yeah, that dude was one of the coolest bosses I ever had.
Yeah.
That's the major issue, dude. Like, if everybody needs some positivity in their life, and people don't get that. They get to go do fun shit with their families. They get to go see their friends and do enjoyable things. And even if it's not very often, at least they get to do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, fuck. I don't know, man. Recently, quality time with the family is more like quality time paying for every goddamn thing that my mom or little brother fucking needs, including their entire rent. I've paid rent in the house for the last 4 fucking months straight because my mom's been unemployed and my little brother's a fucking lazy little fucker who doesn't want to do anything, but whatever. And then, quality time with my dad. Fuck, the only time I ever spend with my dad, I'm out at the flea market selling shit with him, you know what I mean?
I do. I remember going out to the flea market with you guys.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's better than not spending time with him, I suppose, but.
It's different because he's busy talking to customers, and so are you.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And it's fucking hot and fucking pain in the ass. You go home smelling like fucking nasty fucking Commerce City air. I mean, I literally, I smell it on my clothes. I smell it on everything when I go home, you know what I mean?
I do.
Like the whole fucking city stinks. I mean, I can just smell it in me.
Yeah, but you spend a lot of time up in the mountains, so you know what fresh air smells like. A lot of people don't.
if that's true. In fact, now that you mention that, I've never really thought about it that way, but there's probably some people that live in Commerce City that don't even fucking know what the difference is. But that's even a smell, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
That's crazy.
You know, when you got beaten over the head with a crowbar, did it change you?
Yeah.
So you know what it's like getting punished for things you didn't do?
Well, yeah. Yep. Being in the middle of a war I didn't start, nor did I want any part of.
Yep, that's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah.
Except they didn't beat me over the head with a crowbar.
Yep.
They went for...
Yeah, and hey man, the sad fucking reality is nobody cared to do shit for me back then either, you know what I mean?
I wish I'd have known you back then, Brandon.
Fuck man, it was a very fucking hard time, you know?
You
That
know,
was honestly probably the reason that I got into a relationship with Veronica and allowed her to treat me like shit for the entirety of it.
she wasn't very nice to you. I was going to ask
faithful
you...
or reasonable or a lot of things, man.
She definitely isn't reasonable. I was going to ask
Definitely
you...
wasn't faithful neither, which was really the only thing I needed out of her.
That too. I remember the incident with Michael.
There was honestly 3 solid, full-blown instances. One of them, she was gone for 3 weeks at a time. Well, in one time. She was gone for a whole fucking 3 weeks living at a dude's house. And why the fuck I ever put up with that shit, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because I had been taught that I was damaged fucking goods, and I felt fucking worthless, man. I felt like my purpose in life was to find a purpose in life, and once I found some kind of a purpose or a person that I could take care of, man, that's all I fucking felt like I was worth. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. That part I don't get. Like, I do to some degree. I mean, humans got this need to give, you know. They also got the need to take. I was going to ask you a couple times while you were with Veronica why you put up with that, but then the whole thing goes through my head of, you know, it's not my business, and it's his life and her life, and, you know, there's probably things to their relationship that I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, it was probably just that I was afraid of fucking feeling like nobody gave a fuck again. Which I've been feeling that way for 3 steady years now, ever since I left, you know what I mean? It's different when somebody treats you like shit, but they make you feel like they care, you know what I mean?
I do.
At least,
I've been through a lot of that.
At least that was kind of comforting while it lasted.
Yeah, I had a lot of people who told me they cared, told me they loved me, said they'd help out, said they'd write a statement, all sorts of stuff. But when it all came down to it, I ended up calling them out because it was 1.5 years after Natalie died, and they still haven't done what they said they would. And I'm like, guys, you know, I've been through hell, and you're not having to go through it, so why are you judging me for it? Well, we got our own problems. I'm like, yeah, I know. I help you with your problems. You ask me for my help, I help.
Yep.
I mean, with a lot of people, it was different from that because, like, they changed. They were different. A lot of folks, they just took so damn long that I called them out. I'm like, hey, when are you gonna have time in your busy schedule to keep your end of the deal? Because I'm fucking dying here. Fucking help me or kill me. Listen to what I have to say or fucking kill me. Look at the evidence or fucking kill me. Show up in court or fucking kill me. Do something, please. But everybody got their own lives they're living, and, you know, they're all trying to please people that are unpleasable. And I'm like, shit, I'm the easiest person to fucking please, just not under these fucking conditions. I don't know the right thing to do anymore. I know that no matter what I do, I get punished. When I jump through people's hoops, they punish me. When I don't jump through their hoops, they punish me. When I jump through somebody else's hoops, they punish me. Like, I'm doing all the things that these people are asking me to do in exchange for them keeping their word, and none of them keep their word. And then there's folks like you that just show up, you know? Like Ogre.
Yeah, and I mean that's that's my fucking problem though, is I don't ask for anything from anyone. Thus and therefore, what do I get from anyone? You know, the same nothing. But it almost hurts more because I didn't even fucking try for it. You know what I mean?
I do. Like with all that shit with Natalie before she died, I was torn between am I trying too fucking hard? Am I being too pushy? Or am I not trying hard enough? Because, I mean, this shit's still going on. You know, that was right at the beginning. And I didn't know the right thing to do. I just knew that people were being assholes. I tried talking to Pierre about it. He was a fucking doucher. Like, he didn't start off being a doucher, but, you know, he said, hey, you know what? Stick around. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll meet you at the Starbucks at such and such a time. And I was there. I waited for him. There's assholes outside that I've seen and fucking had to deal with before, and they're fucking being assholes. And I'm like, you know, I definitely took that out on Pierre, though, in texting. I was like, dude, fucking 3 days, all right? 3 days, you didn't do fucking shit. You didn't even let me know that you weren't going to show up. And afterwards, you know, I mean, obviously I'm stressed the fuck out. I need help, and I'm fucking stressed out, and I'm letting you know that I'm stressed out, and you're treating me like shit because you didn't keep your word.
Yeah.
I'm used to that at a pier, but a lot of these other folks, I mean, I wasn't used to that.
Yeah, and to be quite honest, Pierre is very much so, you know, he reminds me, no offense to Pierre or to Josh, but he reminds me of Josh in the sense that he is very, very, very selfish, drug and women driven, even though he wants to be an alien, a good human being, and he does have maybe a good heart, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. You know, a lot
Drugs
of
and
times.
women.
Yep.
If I don't have any, then what the hell?
Yep, that's Josh in a nutshell. That's Pierre in a nutshell.
Yep.
The thing is, like, you know, we were talking about that in Virginia. Me, Natalie, and Alicia all talked about that, how Pierre was a skirt chaser, you know?
Yep.
Matter of fact, Alicia was really... She had a lot of mean shit to say about him. But, you know, she spent more time with him than I did. I didn't really hang out with the kids. I tried to run them off, get them away from the drugs, get them away from those people.
Yeah.
There was a few exceptions, and only a few, and that was Veronica and Maddie and fuck, I can't even remember that other kid's name. Spencer. I didn't know he was a kid, though. Like, when I met him, he was tripping on ecstasy on Pearl Street and talking about, you know, how he just got off of work and he had some facial hair on him at that point. I mean, he's got a baby face no matter what, even with facial hair, but come to find out later on, he met me when he was 16.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's should.
So I guess I didn't really make an exception for him. I just made a bad assumption.
Yep.
I guess everybody does that.
Well, yeah, inevitably so, sooner or later.
You know, I needed people to understand that I cared about Natalie. I wasn't stalking her, and so many people, when they didn't keep their word, you know, they're like, well, after what you did to that poor girl, I'm like, Jesus fuck, you said that you would help me after what happened to that poor girl, and you didn't bother taking a look at any of the fucking evidence. So, you know, what gives? I had so many people that, like Derek Apodaca, me and him used to be friends. He's selfish as fuck, but, you know, I go back to Boulder and I'm trying to go see my older brother and hopefully running into Mobley, and instead of running into either of those two, I run into Derek Apodaca and he's fucking swinging. I'm like, dude, I mean, don't get me wrong, he wasn't going to hurt me, and he wasn't even the only person to assault me that day. That was the second of 3 assaults. The first one was some random stranger, and the third one was because there was a fight at the Path to Home place.
Yeah.
Some big white dude was trying to beat up some tiny black dude in a dress. I'm like, the tiny black dude is so fucking drunk. Like, you know, there's no reason for this guy to be pushing this white dude to be pushing his sense of pride that far. I mean, obviously this dude's half your size and he's drunk. Just let it the fuck go.
Yeah, really though.
And all these folks that weren't able to make it to court, I'm supposed to understand their reasoning, and I'm fine with their reasoning. The problem is that there are acceptable excuses. Like if you say it's because of family, then it's acceptable that you didn't keep your word, you know? Or if you're sick or in the hospital, then it's acceptable that you didn't keep your word. So many people, I'm like, hey, you know, you've been stringing me along for a whole fucking year. Every time that you're going to keep your word, you end up sick. Or somebody in your family dies or some shit like that. And I don't get it. Like, and I'd go look, you know, I'm like, are they full of shit or are they fucking legit? Look on their timeline. There's stuff that people post about and stuff that people don't. And when you notice that somebody who posts up about being sick, or they take pictures from the hospital when they're in there, and they didn't, you know, you're seeing pictures of them in their living room with a big old smile on their face and a beer bottle in their hand, and you're like, well, shit, it's a whole week worth of posts like that. I wonder if she's really sick or if she's just like, fuck, dude. One lady tried pretending like she had cancer. I called her out. I was like, you know what? You literally post it on there every time that you end up with a bruise from running into a table or cut on your finger. If you had cancer, you'd have fucking said something.
Yeah.
But see, there's a lot of people that, like with Veronica, with that whole incident where she was trying to do my taxes for me. I knew she was trying to do something nice, but she was badgering about it, and she was mean about the fact that I didn't have it. I'm like, Veronica, I can't make Jesse show up. I just can't. You know?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, through all of this situation, they got their own ideas in their head, and they're like, well, Sean, I helped you. Like, yeah, but you didn't help how you said. A lot of people said that they would make a report, and then they throw it in my face later that they fed me. And I'm like, I didn't need you to feed me. I need you to come forward and be honest when it made a fucking difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm literally getting railroaded here.
Yeah, you know, I was really hoping that, I mean, I called the Broomfield, the Boulder, and and the Westminster, I think, police department because they were all fucking around with that case. So I called one after the next. And yeah, maybe I should have written a report, but I mean, I gave a verbal report to every single person about really your quality of human being and my firsthand experience therewith. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they didn't leave me alone. They still wouldn't leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. I mean, they did some really fucked up shit, and because there was no written reports, it didn't do any good. And because they were trying to cover for Officer Lolatai, I mean, if you look his name up, he assaulted 6 more people after me. And he gave one woman, she's got 13 tickets from a 3-week period. Her back's too fucked up for her to travel, just like with me, just like with Sam before he went fucking crazy.
Huh.
So, I mean, this officer is...
I just saw 3 fucking cops barricading this little fucking kid. I mean, you know, he's probably about my age, but I mean, fuck, you know. He's sitting on this bench in Louisville at Kohl's. I just bought myself a pair of shorts because it's fucking 100 degrees out here. And I can't handle it anymore. I had to get some fucking shorts. So anyways, I'm fucking walking out of Kohl's and I see three police officers barricading this little kid on this fucking guy. I mean, he's just sitting in the shade, man. It's like, what the fuck did he even do? You know what I mean? He's sitting in the shade. All giving him fucking VAs and shit, fucking pestering the shit out of him. I literally, you know, as I'm like getting into my truck, I felt like I was going to get fucking shot, quite honestly, which, you know, my truck was the only vehicle next to them. But it was like, Jesus, you know?
Yeah, I do.
It's not fucking acceptable. It's fucked up.
I met a lady named Amy yesterday. She's having problems with Adams County. So she's got an attorney here in Wyoming. I want to go over there to that attorney's office and see if they can help me. They probably can't, but I want to hope, you know? I mean, through all of this, I just needed to have hope.
Yeah.
And every time somebody gave me hope, I'm like, you know, I'm waiting on you to keep your word and waiting on you to keep your word. And then, you know, when it's too late, they're like, oh, well, you know, Sean, I was gonna. The cops just didn't give a shit. I mean, by the time Officer Lolatai assaulted me, you know, everything needed to go to the media because the cops were too well entrenched. They'd already decided that I was guilty, and then when they realized that I wasn't, they were like, all right, well, we fucked up. We better hide that shit.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I don't know if I told you the story. My older brother, Sean, here recently, I found him right after our most recent big snowstorm we had.
Yeah.
He had been outside for 3 or 4 or 5 days consecutively in the fucking snowstorm, you know what I mean? And I mean, when I found him, he was fucking blue and purple. He was fucking frozen stiff, you know what I mean? And he was inside the 7-Eleven on the hill, which is fucking a mile from where he said he was going to be. I just felt like looking around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So finally I found him, and, you know, he was completely fucking very, very, very out of it, right? I don't know what was going on. Some dude who seemed really fucking high on something bought him a cup of noodles and seemingly might have let him use his phone, which is why he initially got a hold of us in the first place, possibly. I don't know if this was even the same guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, guy buys Sean some fucking cup of noodles, and I'm sitting in there. I take my sweet time watching him fucking eat it and everything, you know. Finally, I start saying, like, all right, well, let's get the fuck out of here kind of deal, you know what I mean? And I ended up giving the dude who bought me that cup of noodles a ride to Gun Barrel. And I drove Sean to Longmont. Now, he slept on the couch. Everything was fine, you know what I'm saying? He woke up in the morning the next day. And I don't know, you know, I was fucking doing pull-ups and fucking push-ups and claps and fucking random things. He started joining me for a workout. He asked for a cigarette. We walked outside. We smoked a cigarette. And You know, all of a sudden I just saw something in him fucking snap. And anyways, we were eating dried mango inside the kitchen. And all of a sudden he turned to me and he said something like, you're feeding my girlfriend's brains to me. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, like, what did you just say? You know what I mean? And he's like, you want to join the military? I was like, no, Sean, I do not want to join the military. He started saying things like, oh, you know, plant people are military fucking slaves, pretty much. So I guess somehow in his twisted consciousness, he was saying that the mango is his fucking slave wife or some crazy shit. And, you know, he was the one who initially picked out the mango and started eating it. I just grabbed a few pieces, you know what I mean? But he started saying that I was feeding his wife's fucking brains to him. And then all of a sudden it turned into a couple weird things. He was fucking following around the dogs and giving them a hard time. And, you know, I'm following him around because if you're going to fuck with my dogs, you know what I'm saying? It's a fucking battle at that point, you know what I mean? I was just watching him and keeping a close eye on him. And then all of a sudden, he fucking totally just takes a fucking knife out of the butcher block and swings it directly at my stomach. And I ended up wrestling him for the next 30 minutes and wrestling him to the ground about 3 times and calling the police and having them fucking, because literally he tried to kill me in my fucking kitchen.
See, and people think I'm like that.
Yeah. Nope. Nope.
They tried to...
And you know, hey man, I don't even generally tell people shit like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In fact, most anyone I would never even say that to, but...
Well, they tried
yeah.
They tried to peg me as schizophrenic and tried claiming that I was violent. That's what that whole thing in Boulder was for. They wanted to obtain some information that they couldn't legally obtain unless I was charged with a felony. So they conspired with Boulder Police Department to make sure they got what they wanted. And the fucked up part about that is that I'd already freely given them all of that prior.
Yeah. I remember when my older brother was one of the more smart and intelligent and conspiratorial potentially people that I know. However, I remember he used to say if the government planted a fucking camera and a microphone in his mouth, and he was very, very, very damn certain about it. But whatever the fuck happened to him, man, he went fucking straight off the rocker, for damn sure.
Yeah, I'm doing my best not to do that. I mean, I'm trying to keep
and
what little
hey,
bit
man,
of sanity
that
I got
happened
left.
to him after a severe back injury. Similar conditions, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he honestly had more support than you did.
I had a lot of people who were support by mouth. They said they were supportive.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they were playing victim. They were playing me for a fool, and I was, you know, don't get me wrong. I knew what was going on. I just wanted to believe. I kept telling myself, these people are going to try to help me. They're going to try to help me. They know what kind of a person Ted is. They understand. They're going to help me. They're telling the truth. And then turned out that they weren't. And there was a lot of people who witnessed the things that the Bollingers were doing and saying on those internet groups. And there was a lot of people that were threatening me. And, you know, the cops...
Fuck, I even publicly posed right against him. I said, fuck no, Sean is a decent fucking human being. I said, leave him the fuck alone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, nobody cared to listen.
I noticed that a lot of people accused me of putting them at risk. I'm like, shit, you know, you're the one who got onto those posts and were posting and, you know, defending me. I didn't make you defend me, but if you're going to defend me, I don't need you defending me on Facebook to these wingnuts. I need to be defended in court. I need people to come forward and be honest about who I am. Veronica, she was all bipolar about that shit, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like, you know, Veronica was one of the first friends that I had to get rid of because of her assumptions and her meanness over the assumptions. I'm like, Veronica, you should know me better than that. You really should.
Yeah. No, I remember there was things like literally like part of my electrical career that she thought that she knew somehow, and I was like, no, 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 no. And like literally, I remember getting into such a big fucking argument with her about it, even though it's a well-known fact that I am not only schooled and fucking schooled in the fucking field and everything else on, you know what I mean? Like I knew very, very, very well, and it was something that like she could have clearly known that she didn't know, and I did. You know what I mean? And yet it didn't matter. I remember she was very fucking bold in her fucking mind when she decided. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Once she said
Whatever
it, she
that may
said it
be.
in stone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do.
It's fucked because I still love her so damn much, and yet, you know,
I love her too. I do love her. I can't take that abuse though, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I tried.
She was the first person in Boulder, Colorado to push me to the point where I was abusive back. And although she was never physically abusive with me, and I was never physically abusive with her, like, yeah, that whole incident was so screwed up. Like, people want to be mad at the things that I typed at Natalie. I was a lot meaner to Veronica because she was a lot meaner to me than. Well, you know, there's also the fact that Veronica, that was straight up Veronica, you know? Whereas with Natalie, I didn't know. I didn't know if it was Natalie sending these people after me or if it was Maddie that was. Well, I knew that it was Maddie, but I didn't know. I didn't know if Natalie was involved with the whole step of the way, because I mean, these people were harassing me for quite a while. And a lot of the stuff that I got to see after she died, I mean, it pointed to her being vindictive because I outed her for her heroin use. I'm like, hey, you know, if I'm going to be blamed for shit that I didn't do, I'm going to tell the truth about what happened. I'm going to fucking defend myself. I want to see my friends and family.
Yeah.
But then there's the whole, you know, autism thing. Like, I don't necessarily put the I or we or you at the beginning of the sentence, or the fact that, like, I just assume things. Like, I just assumed when I let them know I was being treated like a child molester and a rapist, that registered in their head what that meant. But it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't even occur to them that was people calling me names, people swinging at me, people threatening my life, people assaulting me. I mean, it's a lot of fucked up shit. And the worst part is, like, when people call you a child molester, you don't get an honest chance after that. And she was 18 by the time we started hanging out. Before that, it was, you know, it was like hanging out with Connor. Connor shows up. I'm not hanging out with him. I'm hanging out with Janine and Derek. They're both adults. But Derek's high school age, you know. He's 18, but he's high school age. And Connor's only a couple of years younger than him, so he's friends with Connor, and he's friends with Veronica, and, you know, Connor beating the fuck out of her, that definitely wasn't a cool thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know why he did that. Like, that don't make any damn sense to me why he'd go off on. I mean, with the way that she is sometimes, it kind of makes sense, but from the other witnesses that were there, you know, they made it sound like he just started wailing on her.
Yeah. No, I mean, I heard the whole conversation about that. She was saying that that fucking guy, Michael, that she was dating, went over there and stole a fucking family trinket type piece of jewelry. And then she defended that Michael to fucking hell and back again, and then realized one day that he did actually steal it. And Connor pretty much just went out and fucking attacked her for, what seems like no reason because of that. At least that was the way that she explained it to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's when I initially met Veronica. I started taking her to Comfort Dental and different things, being like, my God, like, what the fuck You know, why is there nobody to fucking take care of her? You know what I mean? Why is there nobody who gives a fuck in her life? And that's, you know, and then immediately she was like, oh my God, you know?
Well, I did notice that it's not just Veronica thing. A lot of women, you know, they'll defend their man to the death, even if he's wrong. They just assume that he's right because he's got a penis and he's sticking it in her. And I know that there's a scientific way of saying it. You know, I mean, I've read the studies on it and why and what goes on in your brain and so on and so forth. It's a comfort and safety thing, but you know, if you stick up for them,
but from a physical, actual happening stance, that's literally all it's happening. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Seemed like that motherfucker was not smart enough to even feed words into her. You know what I mean? So what was he feeding into her? Probably nothing but his physical self. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the other thing that bothered me about that whole thing is that, like, Veronica's intelligent. She's not fucking retarded by any means. I mean, she's emotionally defunct, but she's not stupid. And with Michael was always fucked up on meth. Always. At every point in time, he was fucked up on meth. And she was just sticking with him, you know? Like, Veronica, he's on meth. Oh, no, Mike wouldn't do meth. He doesn't do meth. I'm like, he's on meth. He comes in and asks people who are sitting next to me if they have any. Yeah, he's on meth.
Yeah.
That was probably the first time
I honestly never even knew that, but I never even really knew Michael, I don't think. But my God, did I never know that was actually what was going on there. And I guess that would explain why he was stealing fucking jewelry, yeah?
Yeah. But, you know, Veronica, she was adamant about how sober he was, and I just let it go. I had to let it go. She was fucking angry and pissed off. She was obviously
adamant because she never told me anything about it. She's really the only one who ever told me anything about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he used to wear a bandana around his head and have his hair all frilled up, and then, you know, he came into the Starbucks like 2 or 3 times with no shirt on. They told him he couldn't come in. And, you know, he didn't argue with them. He went outside like they asked him to. He was at least that reasonable. But then once he got outside, he started talking 200 miles a minute about how shitty those fucking people are and how he should be allowed to go in there stark naked if he wants to because this is America. I'm like, dude, most of the folks at Starbucks were my friends, you know?
Yep. No, and they're literally just doing their job, and you're going to start talking shit about them because, as you say, this is America. You know, well, hey, you're the fucking reason that we have problems here in America, mister.
Yep.
People like you. Greedy and inconsiderate and fucking dumb.
The thing is, they wanted to peg me with schizophrenia to make it okay what they had done to me. Like, I know a lot of schizophrenic people. I listen to, I mean, your brother, you know, he's not the worst. You know Christian. Yeah, Christian's bad. You know, he gets on that meth and he thinks Janine's a purple alien and all sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah, and but my brother honestly is that far blown.
Well,
Christian's. Really is. I mean, he's honestly. I remember when he lived in the same house as Chris Bort, and I remember.
Hello?
Man, I honestly think that he might be worse now, man. He's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where he'll say that he's the president. He had those fucking police officers come in after I held him to the ground repeatedly. I said, "Hey, Sean, I fucking love you, bro. You know, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want any of this. I was like, you just tried to stab me, and I hope you realize what happened here, you know." But you know, he started saying to these people, he says, I'm a teacher, I'm this, I'm that, and like, you know, he believes literally all these crazy fucking things like he's CEOs of companies and different things. Like he's high fucking grade military and he's this and he's that. It's fucking insane, man. But the craziness is that his illusion is so in reality. You know what I mean? It's not even like I'm an alien. It's literally like fucking Donald Trump and him and I and this and that. You know what I mean? And it changes every fucking day. And the shit that he will say in public will make people fucking cringe.
Yeah, that's like me speaking on the internet.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, like, he literally will make people cringe, not only because of how real and fucking ridiculous it is, but at the same time, it's completely like an illusion out of reality. It's like a fucking separate fucking, he's like saying that he's like, you know, setting up to fucking build pipelines and crazy ass shit with Donald Trump.
When Sam went crazy, Sam was sane. He was highly intelligent. He just spoke out about the police. When he hurt his back, the police wouldn't leave him the fuck alone. And one day he disappeared. It turned out they dragged him off to a nuthatch. They gave him what's called a chemical restraint. He came back wearing a tablecloth as a skirt and a yellow tube top. And him and Christian used to sit next to me in Starbucks. This is after I hurt my back. Him and Christian used to sit in the Starbucks right next to me and talk about them damn aliens. And you know, listening to those guys, that's the only conversation that I'm having with anybody for, you know, pretty much a 6-month period. And I remember realizing how crazy that was making me one day when I went in to get my coffee and 3 people in line had told me that they were Jesus. And within, you know, 30 minutes, 3 more people came in that had told me that they were Jesus. And I remember thinking to myself, it's too bad Zach Boatman's not here to tell me which one's the real Jesus. I was like, holy fuck, was that an actual thought in my head?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd been through hell by that point. My back was fucked up. It was...
Yeah.
That was before Natalie came and rescued me. You know DJ Wow?
DJ who?
DJ Wow. He's one of the cross-dressers.
Maybe not, actually.
Well,
he's a cross-dresser.
I got 37 Vicodin from DJ Wow, and I was going to go to the bathroom and take them when Natalie showed up. She was supposed to meet up with Maddie Boa, and she was a couple hours late with meeting up with Maddie because she saw me in the window. And she had to come in and say hello. So Maddie came in, and we all went over to St. John's that first day and had a conversation, and you know, we did that twice more, actually. We did that 3 different times. And then there was twice that Natalie came to talk to me by herself. Once to give me a ride out to storage because my back was so fucked up. At that point in time, Veronica was already out of my life. I mean, she had been really mean about a free bike that I had been given. And I was like, you know, I don't have that bike anymore. I can't even get onto that bike because of my back. Please stop being mean to me over it. It was still locked up over at Josh's house. I mean, I couldn't use it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a tough thing for me because I'm crazy. I can't say that I'm not crazy after everything that I've been through. I don't sleep enough. I don't have any interaction with anybody that I know except by telephone, and like so many people have told me stuff that they later on, you know, it turned out that they were lying out their ass, and I'm like, you know, you told me you were going to do this a year ago, and here it is a year later. When are you going to have time in your busy life to actually do this? And then they get defensive. Right now I'm dealing with Tabby, who wants to be defensive over her boyfriend, kind of like Veronica was with Michael. And I'm like, you know, this is fucking screwbally. It really is. Like, you both gave me promises that you didn't keep, and now you want to pretend I'm the bad guy because I'm pissed off about it. So I typed a lot of really mean stuff to both of them. And, you know, people say, well, you're a terrible person because I saw all the mean stuff that you typed. I'm like, you know, you should find out why the fuck I typed that shit. I'm kind to people, but at the same time, if you're gonna intentionally go out of your way to fuck me over, I'm not gonna be nice about it anymore. I can't afford to be nice about it anymore. If these people had come forward, I wouldn't have had to break the law. If these people had actually gone in with me to talk to the police, I wouldn't have had to break the law. But then, you know, there was a few people that went to the court with me in Laramie, and that really fucked me severely too, because they wanted to railroad me in Laramie, but whenever somebody would show up, they'd postpone it. I'm like, Jesus, I already know this trick. They want me bad. And I knew they were going to do that. Like, one of them court dates in Laramie County, there was a guy in front of me in the docket, and he raped a 6-year-old boy. And he was in the military, and they gave him special consideration for his military service, even thanked him for his military service, and let him walk out the door. Slapped a little bit of probation on him. Like, holy fuck. I'm sorry, I got my door open because it's hot as shit here. The sun literally just went behind some clouds. It's been baking me all day.
Yep, now it's been baking me all day. I'm just now getting into some cloud cover, but I also am just now about to take a sip of some water and light this fucking smoke. And I'm also going 70 miles an hour down the highway driving with my knee.
And I'm talking to you. Dude, when are you gonna be off the road?
Here, no, I mean, I'm talking to you now, and quite honestly, once I'm off the road, I'm probably not really going to have too much time to talk anyways. Not to mention I've been driving on this road for the last 30 minutes we've been talking.
That makes me feel like shit. I've been putting you at risk by doing that.
No. I'm putting myself at risk by deciding to have not said anything about it this whole time, because I know what you would have said if I would have said it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, that's my own decision. It's well planted, and yet I am well safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did, but I came back. Here, hold on a second, Brandon. There's a gentleman here.
Okay.
You know, that's a lot of the stuff that I've been dealing with, you're aware of firsthand. You deal with actual schizophrenic people. You know the difference between me and an actual schizophrenic person. But all those wingnuts on the internet didn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, from my personal distance, you know what I mean? I can talk to you clearly on the phone. And if I saw a fucking delusion, do you think I would fucking ever, like, even go out of my way to still be helping? You know what I mean? I probably would be, because, I don't know, I guess that's just within me. But yeah, no, I would notice the difference, you know what I mean?
Dude, Desiree stole all of my shit.
I sure as hell would not have been considering sending you $40 earlier.
Well, with Desiree, she stole all of my shit in Sydney last year. There's like a 1% chance that her story that she told me is true, and a 99% chance that she stole all my shit because she's a tweaker and she was trying to recover. That's why she was there. But, you know, I mean, still to this day, I mean, that's Desiree, you know? She's my homie. She's beating the fuck out of grown men for fucking with me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Des is a badass dude.
Yeah.
Oh, she used to be a lot bigger. She's, believe it or not, Desiree, she used to be a real heavy-set woman, and now she's got, what's the word? Trying to remember what my neighbor said. He said, damn, dude, she's got a rockin' body. Anyway, Brandon, I'm going to let you go because I don't want you driving and talking at the
All right.
same time. I love you, dude. You be safe, all right?
Love you too, dude. You be safe as well.
Tell your mom I said hello.
Yep. I will.
Where the
Talk to you
fuck?
soon.
Yes, sir. I'm going to find the hang up button, I hope.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
How's your day been?